So apparently, Bill Clinton is claiming that there were two groups of people who knew Jeff, and that the bad group is trying to skate away from accountability while convincing everyone that Clinton was bad, but he never did anything wrong. Because Bill is known for admitting when he does naughty things with his saxophone. Here's the thing with every effective lie, there's an element of the truth. It's something that narcissists do. They all instinctively learn to lie and admit enough to make you think that you found common ground so that you back off. Now, I don't know exactly how old Bill is in a lot of these photos, and as someone who has actually known a few redacted type people, I can't say for sure that his story isn't true. That's how this sort of thing works. It's very rare for people to get like caught in the act. Unfortunately, in order to protect the real victims, which apparently the Department of Justice thinks are the narcissists who psychologically scarred minors for the rest of their lives because it was thrilling for them. Yeah, that's the problem with this sort of thing. Honestly, narcissists are generally better at playing at being the victim than actual victims are. So you've got actual victims standing up and saying, hey, this is what happened to me. But the Department of Justice won't even let them unredact their own files because Pam Blondie knows best. And at this point is a criminal. This all does beg the question, though. Do several of the lawmakers involved in this realize that this is worse than letting reporters read your internet history? That people's imaginations will run wild. And I imagine that the stuff in the files is really bad, but people are capable of imagining a lot. And the American Department of Justice actively breaking the law to protect wealthy monsters, the thing is, that's always been the DOJ's job. But normally, it's less on the nose. So I imagine that even though a lot of the people who are involved probably feel like they're going to throw up every time they go into work, they've managed to compartmentalize things when they work, and they feel like they're following the rules, so they're continuing to do illegal things that monsters tell them to do. I know when I filed a harassment complaint against a predatory minister who was targeting young adult men, I was shocked to see staff within the denomination that I was working in all incredibly focused on adhering to what they felt the rules were. It didn't matter the creepy McBad touch didn't follow any of the restrictions that they gave him. I watched one of these scariest butch lesbians stand up at a pulpit and practically scream at a congregation, telling them that they had no choice but to take back their predatory preacher, who everyone finally knew was as big of a creep as the rumors had always suggested. But she had a job to do, and she thought that she was doing what she was supposed to do. It helped that the creep had threatened to sue her personally if she didn't cave to his demand. That's how these people work. They're always trying to warp the rules so that they favor them and let them get away with things. And that's one thing to keep in mind as you watch a bunch of these cynical politicians behave in a manner that ought to humiliate them. The thing is, a lot of them probably are humiliated, and that's going to actually cause them to act worse. A lot of them may, on some level, know that they're bad people, but they never imagined that they would be cooperating with this kind of monster. But they're in for a dollar, so now they're, I guess, in for the treasury sort of thing. Like, it's a sunken cost fallacy. I think a lot of them feel like they've gone too far to go back, but they don't realize they're going to have to keep going further, and eventually they're not going to want to look themselves in the mirror.